Hello, this is Samantha Anderson, Director of Communications for Newton Public Schools, and I'm here virtually with Superintendent Dr. Deb Hamm, and we're here to answer any of your questions you may have. Please go ahead and leave them in the comments section, and we'll get to them. Real quick, if you are watching this video recorded, so after it's been live, if you could just email your questions to info@usd373.org or send us a message, that will help because I don't want them to get lost in all the other comments. All right, Dr. Hamm, I'm sure people are wondering, can you let us know why you're meeting with us virtually?
Well, I'm meeting with you virtually because over spring break, I traveled to California. And so when I came back, there was a quarantine mandate in place for a 14-day quarantine. So I am finishing day 8 of quarantine, and I will be very, very happy when it's over, just even to be able to go to the grocery store or buy gas or something as simple as that.
Can you just give us an update, what kind of where we are as a district so far, what we've been working on?
Well, this week our teachers came back and they began right away on Monday morning working through what is this new normal going to look like and how are they going to work with students. So teachers this week have been making all of those plans and trying to figure out what that's going to look like at each grade level. And it will be different for each grade level, as it should be, because we want to make sure that we're taking into account the needs of the students. So they have been working on their plan, which we will finish up on Friday. And then that plan will be approved by the board on April 6th. And so there will be a special board meeting on April 6th for the board to review the plan and approve it. Teachers will begin working with students in some fashion next week. Some have already reached out to students or had students reach out to them. And so they've made those connections. But next week it really will be about making connections with our kiddos and having our teachers work with them and see where they are and just kind of reconnect after being disconnected for these 2 weeks.
I know they're missing their students, I think.
They are very much missing their students.
All right, we got our first couple of questions. When are elementary schools going to get their laptop? We know that now, right?
Right, we do know that. That will be on Friday. And so it's really important, though, that parents complete the form online. And so if they have not done that yet, I think a reminder is going to be going out about that. If they do not have that completed, then they will not be able to pick up their laptop on Friday. But otherwise, they'll go home on Friday.
All right. Some people are wondering wanting an update on VOTEC. Do we have any new information on that?
I really don't have any information on that other than to say that I know that they have been working on their plans and they should have those formalized by Friday. I know that Mike McConnell, for one, out working with our welding kids, has a plan at least drafted for how he's going to work with students to get their welding certificates done. So I will look to see if we have some more information on that. And if people have specific questions, I would recommend, again, that they use the info at usd373.org, and we will get answers to them specifically.
Okay. Will lunch delivery be something for the children who don't have daily transportation to pick up lunch or breakfast?
We are working on that right now, and I really wish I had an answer for you. We have to follow the state guidelines, and so we need to make sure that we have the proper forms filled out and those kinds of things. So there's just certain things that we have to do. But we're looking at hopefully being able to start something next week or something to be able to get lunches out into the community.
Okay. Lindsay Ellis asks that she got an email saying CMS students would get their time slots to come and get their items Friday or Monday. when will we find out what those time slots are? I actually know this one. We have, in that email, you should be able to sign up for a time slot. If you can't see that, or if you need some help, just email me at info@usd373.org, and we'll make sure you get that figured out. So what about students with 504 plans? How will students with 504 plans have their accommodations met?
Well, it will depend on the individual student and their needed accommodations. So next week, when the teachers begin working with students, I would recommend reaching out to the administration of that building and in making sure that everybody has gone over the 504 plan. But that should be what they're working on now, this week.
All right, Gina Burke asked what time on Friday. I'm guessing that means the laptops, they're all going to be different times depending on age and grade level and things. So just keep your email open or look at your email. All right, Andrea Fielder, same thing. Feel free to shoot info@usd373.org an email and we'll get you figured out. Same thing with Shara Carter Howe, info@usd373.org. Julie is wondering what the tech survey is. We emailed it out and texted information and called, and it's also was posted on Facebook earlier this week, and then we also have it on our website. So if you still aren't able to find it, again, email info@usd373.org and I will send you the link. It needs to be signed up tomorrow by noon. When will Southbury students pick their items up for school? They should get an email soon about that, right?
Right. All of those schedules were finalized today, and so they should be receiving information for their school either tonight or tomorrow at the latest. But the pickups will be between 2 and 7 p.m. and there will be an assigned time to come through. And what they're going to do I believe at most all of the elementary schools, is there's going to be a drive-through, a loop set up for parents to drive through, and all of their students' items will have been packed into a bag, along with there will be a separate bag for the computer, and all of that will be sent home at that time.
All right. Sherry Nicholson says she's watching. Hi. Nice to see you virtually. Okay. Some people helping us answer questions, which is always nice. Diplomas and transcripts. When can seniors get them and where can they pick them up?
Well, diplomas won't be issued until the end of the school year. We're not done. So students will be completing work between now and in May. And then, so we haven't designed what the delivery system will be yet for diplomas. There are a couple of different ideas being floated around. So look for more information about that later. As far as transcripts are concerned, right now the high school office is closed, and so the registrar is not working and is not able to send transcripts out. But we're looking at how are we going to restart that next week. So again, I hate to keep saying, but if you could be patient with us just a little bit longer, we will have an answer to that particular question, how we're going to do that. Because again, we have to follow CDC recommendations. We have to make sure that everything that we're doing is protecting our staff as well as the public that comes in. So.
Okay. Someone asked if I could put the email in the comments. I just did that, and then at the end of the feed, I'll put it up in the description box too to make it easier for you to find. Again, someone was wondering how online learning for special ed students would work.
We are still getting clarity from the state and federal departments regarding special education and what we will need to do there. It because it is special education, it will depend, I'm sure, a lot on the needs of the student. Some students are fully able with support, like para support, to be able to do the regular curriculum with some accommodations or modifications. So those things are being worked on right now, and each student's special education teacher will be able to address that starting on Monday.
Okay. Sarah, who commented about Santa Fe, you'll actually be getting emails from your teachers, I believe, for that, not from the principal. Someone asked, I did the survey, but I got a call telling me to do it. Do I need to do it again? Nope, that call was just to remind those who didn't fill it out already. When can Cooper pick up items? That's going to be on Friday or Monday too, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So again, expect an email either tonight or tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
We have lots of people answering for us, so
It's good to have helpers.
yeah, so I'm just going through those. Might it be a possibility for community members to help deliver food to families that need breakfast or lunches?
I would love to be able to say yes. However, federal guidelines would prevent us from doing some of those kinds of things. So what we are looking to do is figure out ways where we can do delivery, but not to individual students. So for example, we might, in an area where we know we have a number of students that are in need of a delivery type system, take a bus through that section. And so we would have the bus driver drive the bus, and then other people distribute the meals. So that's what we're looking at, so that we can be in compliance with the federal guidelines that we have to follow.
All right. And again, if you didn't get an email for the item pickup, I see some more people saying that, info@usd373.org will get to the bottom of it. And if you have not been receiving emails, it might have been unchecked that you want to receive the emails, just email info@usd373.org. Someone asked if teachers will be at the item pickup to say goodbye/hi to the student.
Yes, teachers will be outside helping to deliver items to students. We have to be very careful, though, in making sure that we're doing the social distancing thing. So each school will be sending information out with their mailings to parents about what that's going to look like. So yes, and we totally understand how important it is, particularly at elementary level, for kiddos to have that opportunity to see their teacher, and we're not actually saying goodbye, we're just kind of saying hi, and we'll see you again in a different way, because the year's not over yet. But yes, we totally understand, and our teachers want to be there. They want to see the students as much as the students want to see them.
Brian asked again about the double checking on emails. Sometimes people get unsubscribed, Brian, so just email us. And for Chisholm, the email would have been sent to the parent. So just email me at info@usd373.org. Have we tried to get the subs to help with the IEPs for their education?
We will be using all of our resources that we have available to us to help address that. Again, the teachers have been working this week to kind of figure out what that's going to look like and what they need to do. And so as they get that part finished, then they will have a way to be able to do that. So again, there's a lot of scheduling, as you can imagine, with just trying to get all of the details worked out. But the teachers have been working very hard on deciding what their schedule would look like and how they will be available to deliver instruction to kids.
So how will advanced placement classes be tested for college credit? They released that information, didn't they?
Right. And I don't have that right in front of me, but yes, AP has released that they will allow the students to test at home. So they will be able to do that. And I know that Kathleen Bergman out of the high school has sent information out to her students, and I'm sure that the other AP teachers will also be doing that shortly if they haven't already done it.
And it's going to be an essay question, I think, if I remember correctly, this time. And they'll have a date that's sooner for people who don't want to forget, and a date that's a little bit later for those who want the extra time to study, I think. How many surveys should we have completed? As a parent, you should have completed 2, the technology and the education one.
And you needed to have completed a technology one for each one of your students. So you may have done that one multiple times.
Yeah, so if you have 3 students, you have to fill them out for each student. Someone was wondering about their daughter who won't be able to make it for the pickup for unforeseen circumstances. Why don't you just email us, Pam, and we can work on that, info@usd373.org.
And a parent can pick up the items for their child. It's not the same as food where you have to have the child be present, but yes.
All right. Oh, someone shared a link about the AP test, so thanks for that. We live out of town, and I talked to Cox today, and they told us that they don't get service out this far. How will she be able to do online learning when we don't have Wi-Fi?
Again, that's all part of the survey that you filled out, so that teachers will have that information, and schools will have that information so that they can figure out what's the next best plan for your child, and or look into what resources might be available. One option, and I'm not saying that this is a good option, but one option is that you actually can take your computer and sit in the parking lot of any school in our district, and because it's a district computer, it will connect to our network, and you can use the Wi-Fi in that parking lot. And again, that's not a great solution, but it is something that is possible.
All right. Is there a way to find out how many library books kids have checked out? I wonder that about myself sometimes.
Yes, the media specialists are working on that now. Unfortunately, they cannot access their records from home. So what they're waiting on is the ability to get back into the schools. And we're looking at providing that probably next week sometime for them to be able to get into their libraries. And we don't have a date on that yet. But they will then be connecting. And parents are encouraged, sorry for hitting my computer, but parents and students are encouraged to bring back their library books when they pick up their stuff. If they know they have a library book and you already found it in your house, then go ahead and plan on bringing that back. And I think every school is going to have a box or something to be able to put those in when students return them. And then we'll check them in and take them off our list.
So you can bring library books to pick up, but don't bring it to if you pick up food. We don't want to mix the food going out and the library books coming in. So,
correct.
Gina, shoot me an email at info@usd373.org. Why do kids have to be present for meal pickup? It's kind of
Because we have to ensure to the federal government and the state government that we are providing meals to students and not to adults, because that's what the food program requires.
Will there be yearbooks this year for all schools?
If your school was planning to have a yearbook, I am going to say I'm going to assume that they're going to have it because we've completed 3/4 of the year easily. I do know that several schools have theirs worked on and will be ready. So I would say the best bet would be to contact again the building administrator for that building.
All right. Is there a plan to extend the school end date a week to make up for the missed weeks of instruction?
No, there is no plan to extend the school year. The school year will end when it is scheduled to end.
All right. Staley, shoot me an email about your survey. Alice, we haven't sent out an email about Northridge pickup. Chisholm, we have, so shoot me an email, info@usd373.org. Autumn, we answered the library book. If you missed it, just shoot us a message. Are seniors and juniors able to pick up stuff from the lockers? Your high schoolers should have gotten an email to fill out a time to pick stuff up. Naomi, if they didn't, email me at info@usd373.org.
And yes, I believe their pickup date is on Friday for juniors and seniors.
Okay.
But they have to go in at a specified time.
Yeah.
So they need to make sure they fill out their request.
Okay. Oh, Crystal, I think we talked about library books. If you still have questions, shoot us a message. Some people are thanking our teachers for working so hard. I would agree with that.
Absolutely. And Sam and Sherry for answering all the emails and things that have come across your desk. Really appreciate that too.
All right. Again, Jane, send me an email about the sign up. We can walk you through it. We kind of touched on it, but my son goes to Southbreeze. Do we know maybe what day the pickup will be for school supplies and belongings? That will be Friday. I'm expecting an email either today or tomorrow. How will we get spring photos and class pictures? Have they talked about that with you?
They haven't really specifically talked about that, and I should have asked today. I didn't think about that. But I know the plan is to distribute those packets of pictures. So if they've already been received, they should be in the students' stuff when they pick it up. If they have not been received yet by the school, then that will come probably through mail at a future date. But I will try to find out about that.
All right. Will there be a later day for books if we missed one this Friday or Monday?
Yes. Do think that just keep them in your home, and we'll make another date announcement for returning more library books in the future.
All right. Naomi asked about seniors and juniors picking stuff up. What time? It depends on what time they sign up for. So if you didn't get that link, email us info@usc373.org. If we ordered pictures, will we be able to pick them up when we get materials? I don't think are they ready yet, the pictures?
If they're ready, they'll be a part of what is returned to students. If they're not ready, then they'll have to come in another time.
All right. Jane, shoot me an email at info@usc373.org. She shoot me an email at usd373.org.
You're going to be answering a lot of emails.
I know I am. Okay. Will there be a way for the juniors and seniors to take the ACT? Do we know?
I have not heard about that. The last I had heard, I know one of the national assessments had been canceled for this year. So at least for this upcoming date that was coming up. So I have not heard yet, but if as soon as we do hear, we can get that information out.
All right. Someone asked how this will work if both parents are essential and there is only one child. So I'm guessing the whole online learning, parents not at home.
It will be very flexible. Some of the ideas that our teachers have talked about would be things like recording lessons and then posting them so that parents can watch them with their child, and then having different times when they are available to either answer questions for the parent or answer questions for the student. So I would recommend, again, visiting with your student's teacher as soon as next week, and then working something out. They'll be able to tell you exactly how they're planning to work, and then also to be able to make some adjustments maybe for individual needs.
All right. Mrs. Moore reminded me too, if you didn't get the email from any of your teachers, make sure you check the spam folder, because it was sent through an app, I believe, the app they used to schedule it. So it might have ended up there. So are custodians going to teaching? Can you clarify your question? I don't understand what you mean. We'll get back to it though if you just leave another comment. Someone says the school keeps sending messages that parents check email, but my parents don't have an email. So where would I find that information? A lot of the information's on the website. It's been on Facebook. If you need to have more specific, you can have them call then. And my number is 316-284-6222, 316-284-6222. Is Slate Creek picking up Friday to get their stuff? Wasn't sure if I missed it. Yep. You should get an email. I think they're working on that now. Mrs. Moore let us know that the April ACT date has been canceled, so thank you for that information. Someone asked, says that they still have a balance with Latchkey, so will she be sending her an invoice?
Yes, and look for more news from Latchkey potentially coming up.
All right.
Excuse me.
Just to clarify, Megan, I appreciate your comment. All schools are either Friday or Monday. Not all the schools have you sign up for a time slot, because some schools will just bring the stuff outside. for the younger kids, mainly without lockers. So just to clarify on that, Kathleen Bergman has posted some ACT information for us.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Someone asked if we could post all the emails online. I mean, I already have them together, so that's an option. Although we do post most of the ones that are not very timely and the ones that people would need, they're in the news section, so check out there. That would be a good place on our USD 373 website. Some people are saying that school will be going on next week. Well, it will, but in a different way, right, Dr. Hamm?
Mm-hmm. Right. It won't be students coming into the building. It will be our teachers coming into your homes via technology and or mail, depending on the student and what the teachers have determined is best for that age level. So it will just be very different.
All right. Someone says that is asking, are you still planning on meeting in small groups less than 10? She thinks that's inappropriate considering that we're trying to flatten the curve.
Well, yes, and what I can say there is, as you are aware, the information has changed a great deal since our first Facebook Live, and it will continue to change and evolve. I believe that it would be safe to say at this time that for most students that would not occur. And we do have some students, however, our high school students that are in CTE, particularly, I'm just going to keep using this as an example, welding, that need to finish out certain requirements for their certification in order to be job ready when they graduate. And so Mike McConnell has worked on what will that look like in keeping things like the social distancing and making sure that we have sanitized equipment and all of those kinds of things. And he's been very conscientious about working through that. So as a general rule, I would say no, we are not planning to work with students in the building in the setting that we might have a few weeks ago. But for isolated students, that may occur. But it would be a group smaller than 10.
Someone asks, are bus drivers being paid? And if not, can they get them a gift card?
Oh, that's so sweet. But yes, our bus drivers are being paid, and we're looking at some different things that they can do for students still. But yes, that is one of the conditions of the waiver that was passed through the state legislature, that we do need to continue to pay our classified staff through the end of the school year. So we're more than happy to do that, and we appreciate the legislators' support on being able to do so.
All right. Why are we doing online class? Why can't we just keep our grades we have? And if someone is failing, then they have to do something to get it up.
Well, there would be a variety of reasons for that. One, that we have requirements through the state for online or for attendance for the school year, and we have not completed 1,116 hours of schooling. So that's one reason. Another reason would be there are certain competencies and expectations for students to have completed in a school year. And since we're not finished with the school year, we haven't addressed all of those competencies and standards yet. So there has to be a way of at least determining what are the most important things that still remain in the last 7 weeks or 8 weeks of school that we need to have students complete and show mastery of.
All right. One of our board members, Mallory Morton, says, great job answering questions. And she asks if we can explain how the lunch program is being funded.
The lunch program is being funded totally through federal dollars. This is the summer nutrition program. And again, you can thank your federal legislators for supporting this. It will be fully paid for out of federal funds that come into the state, and then the state will reimburse the school districts for the expenditures.
All right. Doug, email me at info@usd373.org for that question. And Becky, it looks like you have the same question, so same answer. Okay. Do children have to be present to pick up their belongings from the locker? I know you covered this, but we'll talk about it again. Can it be the parents? Some people don't feel comfortable sending their kids in.
Right, absolutely. Students do not have to be present to pick up belongings. We would ask, if you're not sending your child and you haven't been to the school and no one knows you, to bring ID, because we don't want to just hand over a child's belongings to someone that they don't belong to. So that would be helpful. But no, the student does not have to be present to pick up the belongings. The parent can do that.
If you wanted to be extra safe, I'd say shoot the principal an email so they know to plan for that.
Well, that would be a good idea.
Melissa, shoot me an email, info@usd373.org. So if they have lockers, they will be going in the school and getting their stuff. I'm guessing that's for the high school or for the middle school.
Correct. If they have a locker, the students will go in and get their things out of their locker. We will have bags for them, I believe, to put their things in, but they will need to clean out their own locker.
Someone asked, how will online teaching work and what link do we need for that? You'll hear from your teacher on that, is that right?
Right. The schools, depending on what the age the child is, elementary schools will be using Seesaw, which some parents would already be familiar with, because this is a system that we have already used. A number of our science teachers at the elementary level use that already to share assignments and experiments with parents. So there's that. And then the other opportunity might be for elementary, might be for third and fourth graders using Google Classroom. And again, that will be a part of the Google Suite that students will have access to on their Google Chromebooks. And as I understand it, there is information that will go home to parents with their items that will help to explain that, so that they can at least get started. And then some of the things teachers will have to help students with virtually. And we also have Megan Nagel, who is amazing, and she will also help students and teachers work, and possibly parents too, if there's a need for that. Then that at the middle level, 5-8, they will continue using the Summit platform, I believe, with some additional use of Google Suite items. So there's that. And then at the high school, they'll be using Canvas as the learning management system, and many of the high school students would already be familiar with that, because again, that is something that teachers have already been using in the school setting. So those things should be fairly familiar to students, while they might not be as familiar to parents.
Okay. Will Santa Fe students be getting the same Chromebook they've been using all year? I believe so, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Because those were assigned to the student, so they will get the one that they have been using all year.
All right. Our subs, so substitute teachers, are they classified?
Substitutes don't fall into that designation, no. Classified would be hourly employees. Substitute teachers are more contract. And I would recommend that you reach out to Jane Nichols specifically if you have a question as a substitute teacher.
Someone asked a good question that will help us clarify some things. If online classes start on Monday, what time will it be?
Oh, that's a great question too, because there really isn't going to be a set school time for many things that you would be maybe expecting. So this will be a lot more fluid, and it will depend a lot on the teacher and a lot on the student's age that they're working with. One of the things that we understand is that in some homes, students may be, for example, young students might be staying with grandma and grandpa, and so they might not be in their home at 8 o'clock in the morning. So that the time will be communicated by the teacher and what the expectations are for learning and all of those kinds of things. And it'll also be published on our website as soon as the teachers finish formalizing that.
All right. Chad from the Kansas says we should do some sort of spirit week, which Santa Fe actually is doing this week. He says that we should use hashtags and just have a lot of fun with it, which I think is a good idea.
That is a great idea.
All right. It looks like Mrs. Moore may be sending some of all these emails I said I would send. So thank you, Mrs. Moore. That'll help me out a lot. Amy, you should email me if there's a problem. My guess is we did send it out, but some people over the school year have unsubscribed or just a lot of various things, maybe an old email. So yeah, the best way to do it is to email me, because if we resend it, the same people probably won't get it. So I appreciate you trying not to overwhelm me, though. That's very kind. All right, I think we covered the sub question. Oh, this is an interesting question. If a child lives with both parents at different residences, can students use their personal Chromebook at one house and the schools at the other, like using a portal or something, or can only one Chromebook be used per student? That's a pretty technical question.
That is a very technical question, and I would certainly hate to respond incorrectly. My assumption will be that everything that the students will be using is web-based, so it shouldn't matter what computer they're on in order to log in. They should be able to log in from any computer into the space that they need. Now, where that could be a little bit challenging would be with elementary, where we use a lot of an application called Clever, and Clever would allow the kids to have just a single login, and that's too technical for me. I don't know if that works, but I think it would, because if the student uses Chrome and logs into Google, then they should be able to log in wherever. So
it may be a good question too. And you can maybe check in with your teachers too, and see what they say. Mary, depending on your school your children go to, you may not have received an email. The only emails we've sent out are for Chisholm, the high school, and Santa Fe. We'll be sending more out tonight or tomorrow morning. Naomi, shoot me an email, info@usd373.org. Okay, maybe we can answer some of this women's concerns. Is it safe for students and staff to be going into the schools Friday and Monday to get belongings? The virus lives on services for days, and I have concerns about people staying 6 feet apart during this process.
Again, we are doing everything we can to mitigate those types of things. We are limiting the number of people entering a building at a time, and there's a buffer time in between each group of people, and custodial staff will be cleaning in between each one. So they'll be cleaning all of the door handles, all of those kinds of things will be cleaned in between. It's a lot of work, but there's no real easy way not to have that. I would encourage people to, when you talk to your children about going into buildings, to make sure that they are aware of the social distancing and 6 feet, and that they know that your expectation as a parent is that they follow that social distance. In addition to that, if you are concerned about not having your child go in, then you can certainly not send them. The difficulty for us will be in getting personal items back to children that or parents that don't either come to the school to pick it up. It will create a delay in you getting your items.
All right. Jordan, you'll be able to pick up your Chromebooks on Friday for the elementary schools as long as you fill out that survey. And I'll put the survey link up in the description at the end of this live stream. But it's also on our website currently. We've emailed it. It's in a previous post on this page. So if you don't want to wait, you can probably find it.
Can you still see me, Sam? Because I didn't touch my computer, but something happened.
I can still see you. You're a little pixelated a smidge, but we can still see you and hear you.
Okay.
Good question, though.
Yeah, I just don't know what happened. It just kind of went blank.
All right. Can you see us?
No, I can't. That's what I'm saying.
No, we can see you.
All right.
All right, now I can make faces. Doug, make sure you email us at info@usc373. Mary asks, we can come in anytime between 4 and 6 to get their things. Mary, that depends on which school your child's at. There's different rules for different schools. So just follow the directions on the email you got. And if you didn't get an email, check your spam. And then if it's not in your spam, email me at info@usc373.org. Pat says, good to see you. Dr. Hamm, take care. Hi, Sam. Pat actually left me a nice little note, and I have it on my computer so I can look at it during the day. She works in our building and helps keep everything nice and organized. And clean, yes.
Nice to see you too, Pat. I wish I could access you.
Are online courses recorded so students can watch anytime, or do they need to be present at the certain time? Does it depend on the course?
I think it will depend on the course and the teacher. There would be times, I'm sure, when teachers will want to meet with individual students or maybe small groups of students at a time. But that is one of the things that they're talking about doing is recording a class session so that students, if for whatever reason that's not a good time for them, can watch it later.
All right, Kelsey asks if we don't have internet at home. That's why filling out the technology survey is so important. If you have a phone, you can do it through your phone. If you don't have a phone with that capability, you can call me and I can help you. 316-284-6222, 316-284-6222. Will there be opportunities scheduled for interaction or specific times that the teacher is available for questions, but students won't be required to log in at specific times daily?
The simplest way I can answer that is yes. That will depend on the schedule for the teacher. And again, if the information that you receive is something that it doesn't work for your family or is not possible for some reason, please reach out to the classroom teacher so that they can work with you to find a solution.
Okay. Another one of our board members is here, Melissa Schreiber. She says, thank you for providing this time and questions and information, or time for questions and information. She says she expects that there will be some hiccups along the way and we can address them as they come about. Yep, we will have to do that. That's a good point.
And communication is going to be very important through this process. This is not something that 2 weeks ago teachers were planning on. So they are really spending this whole week just trying to figure this out themselves. So I am sure that there will be things that maybe don't work as smoothly as we would like, but the communication is going to be really important, and certainly encourage parents to let us know what the needs are so that we can help to find solutions.
Okay. Someone asked who's going to be bagging the items up. Is it safe for employees to be touching these surfaces?
Again, the staff members will all be wearing gloves throughout this process and bagging individual items. They'll be working in very small groups, 2 or 3 in a classroom at a time, and so and keeping social distancing. So we have again set as much in place as we can. What we know about the virus is if the virus were present in the building prior to spring break starting, so now we're talking almost 2 weeks ago, it would likely not have survived this long. We have sanitized the buildings twice at this point, and so we're pretty confident that the items that are in there are safe for our staff to handle, and staff will be wearing gloves. So again, we're as confident as we can be that our staff is safe.
All right. Someone says, silly questions. There are no silly questions, but will there be a menu for meal pickup? She just doesn't want to grab things that her kid won't eat.
Oh, that's a good question, and I wish I had an answer for it, but I can find out.
Yep. I think this first week was just so key in making sure we could get all these meals out, and then in next week's we'll be able to start thinking about different things like that, because it's quite the undertaking.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay.
I do know that they are, they may be going to that, because one of the things that we just found out is that there are ways that we can do some hot meals as well. So I'm pretty sure that Elaine will be working on getting that information out.
When is pickup for Santa Fe? It'll be Friday and Monday, and email me info@usd373.org for the information if you haven't received it. How will merchandise purchased for sports be delivered, or will those be refunded?
I don't know the answer to that question, but I will write it down and see if I can find an answer.
All right. Danny says, well, my daughter is in first, so can we download any other apps so it won't be a problem? I don't know what you're referring to, so if you could just clarify down below, that would be great. We don't see the full threads that you guys do when we're doing this, so I don't know what you're referring to.
Well, what I can say is that Chromebooks would be very limited in what could be added to the Chromebook. But if it is a subscription or anything that's web-based would be able to be included.
Mrs. Moore says that if any NHS students have not received the email with the link to retrieve their items, check your spam folder first, but then email lisa.moore@usd373.org, lisa.moore@usd373.org. Okay. Will you have an option to have online school FaceTime class?
I can't say that it will be FaceTime. I don't know if that's a possibility or not. I would say talk to the individual teacher. If you're talking about the application FaceTime, if you're talking about a time for a student to meet virtually with a teacher, yes, there will be opportunities for that.
Can we limit the amount of time school district calls, texts, and emails in a day? Not right now. There's just so much information we have to get out so quickly that we're going to be sending more than normal. We try not to do more than we have to, but we have to send out emails so you guys know what's going on. If you have 2 students at NHS, do you have to come on Friday and Monday? It just depends on their senior and freshman. I don't know the schedule by heart, but they have to go in their time slot. So it would be whatever days that they were assigned.
And again, the reason for that is the proximity of different locker areas and trying to keep students separated. So that's the whole reason for the way that the schedules were designed.
Someone's asking if a personal computer would not work with Clever, and the tech survey has already been filled. Is there a way to help with that? I would just call our technology department probably. Their info should be on the website. If not, you can send us a message.
Right, and Clever is just, it's a landing page, so it's also subscription based. It's just something that the district provides for students. So once they log into to it, and I think that they could log into it from a personal computer, but I would contact the ETC, the tech department.
All right. If this continues into the next school year, will our students just keep the Chromebooks from school until things flatten out, or are we going to have to return this to years and get a new one for next year?
At this point, we don't have an answer for that question. It would make sense in some ways for students just to hold on to them if we're going to have to start the school year this way. I certainly hope, for our country's sake, that is not what we have to face in August. But we will be getting you more information about that. Students who are 5th graders right now are supposed to keep the same computer that they have through 8th grade, and other students, because we have these on an automatic rotation plan, some of these computers would rotate out at the end of the school year. So part of that will depend a lot on our rotation schedule and, of course, what happens in the future.
All right, Amber says we've called more about than one thing, make it one. We've called about more than one thing, make it one a day or less, not 3 times a day. Again, right now, things are happening so quickly that, I mean, we could decide not to tell you guys when pickup would be, but then you would have to wait another day, and you need to know now. There's just so much stuff that has to get done right now. And if we wait a day, I mean, then you all only get a day to figure out, or less to figure out when your pickup time would be. And then that makes it hard for you to schedule. We're sorry to send out all this communication. We really do try to be mindful of it, but right now it's what we have to do to make sure you know. And so, yeah, and that's what you have to know about that. Okay. What about kindergarten roundup? I think they're planning on maybe doing that online. Is that right?
That was the last I heard, that was the plan, to do that online. So again, I'm sure that the kindergarten teachers are working on that right now and trying to decide what will be the best method for going through that process.
Sarah, we answered that question. The school year will not be extended. Someone asked if they need to return their Chromebook if they don't have internet. I don't believe so. They just need to return it when it's due. And then just make sure you fill out that technology survey. Would that be right?
I would say yes, and if that's different, somebody will contact you.
Yeah.
The students, again, could still work, depending on the age of the student, and since this is a student that has it at home, it has to be a 7th through 8th grader, or 7th through 12th grader. There is a way for the student to be able to use it even if there's not internet at home, by going to the school and being in the parking lot of any of our schools can connect to the internet. So there might be some ways still for it to be useful to the student, but that would be something that the parent and the student and the teacher would need to work through.
All right. Amber says that the email she got has a date, but not a way to sign up. I'm going to open it up on my phone real quick so I know what I'm talking about. It could be confusing. What you have to do is select the date. So it's highlighted for you in your link. So all you have to do is touch it, and then a drop down comes out with all the times that are still available. So that might be some of the confusion as well. So if you still have issues, then email us. But I think that might be some of the confusion as well. So you choose your time. So you aren't assigned a time, you get to choose it. We're trying to be flexible for everybody. So on that calendar, just touch the highlighted date. So depending on your grade level, and then a drop down will happen and you will get to choose your date. So I hope that helps. If you haven't received an email for the Chisholm student, email me, info@usd373.org, but first check your spam box. Are we going to have any school where the teacher is interacting live with the student?
Not at this time, except in very rare occasions for addressing specific needs, such as welding.
Okay, what about live virtually? Will we have that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But again, I think those will be set by the teacher, and so you'll have to wait till the teacher has communicated that.
Is there a syllabus?
Excuse me.
Is there a syllabus out there so we know how to track our students' progress? They'll get that from their teachers, is that right?
Correct, and it's not available yet, but will be available by Monday. Excuse me.
Kelly Marie says she hasn't gotten anything. If this is in as part of the pickup, if you are from Newton High School, Chisholm, or Santa Fe, check your spam box, and if it's not in your spam box, email me, info@usd373.org. If you're from anybody else, the message hasn't been sent out yet, so we'll get it out either tonight or tomorrow. Someone asked, I filled out the survey for my grandson. Do I get the email or does the student get the email? If you could clarify for us, I don't know if I quite understand the question. Do you know?
No, I can't. Based on that, I don't know the answer to that question.
Amanda says that they didn't link the dates. So again, if my trick doesn't work, touching the calendar and having it drop down, then go ahead and email us. We've covered lunch money. What was the email again to email me? info@usd373.org. I get so many emails.
Mhm.
Will Cooper kids get a packet or will it be online as well?
I don't have a specific answer to that question yet. I think it might be a combination of things, but those teachers are still working through what that's going to look like for our youngest students, and they will work very hard at making it age appropriate for them.
Okay, we have actually got to the end of the questions and we're at about an hour. So if you have any other questions or need any other help, feel free to message us or email us at info@usd373.org. Again, it could get lost if you just comment on this feed. So just make sure you do something different so I can actually see it. And if I missed your question, just let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being here, Dr. Hamm. Do you have any last-minute words of wisdom?
Just that it's not coronavirus. I apologize for coughing in everyone's ears, but I am suffering with a springtime cold.
Okay.
So, but I have been in touch with my doctor. So.
All right, that's good. Well, thank you so much, and wash your hands and stay safe.